or gain organic protein. Smooth and delicious.
Now that I did 2.5 push-ups, I can have 16 protein shakes.
16 protein shakes are totally not suggested. In keeping with my attempt at having a celebrity introduce the late Parsha show, this week features none other than Avi Piamenta.
Welcome to the late Parsha show, Vayigash.
Woo! Thank you very much. Alright, so this week's portion is called Vayigash, which means "and he approached." And it begins smack in the middle of the drama. If you remember from last week, Joseph had become second to Pharaoh. Now he was busy distributing foods to Egypt and its surrounding lands throughout the 7-year famine which was then occurring. Jacob's sons, all but Benjamin, traveled down to Egypt to receive food from this viceroy, who they didn't know was their very own brother, Joseph. They go home with lots of food, but this viceroy tells them, "Don't ever see my face again without bringing the youngest, Benjamin." Convincing their father to let Benjamin go with them was a task for itself, but eventually the old and sorrowful Jacob agreed. And now they're here in Egypt with Benjamin, and this viceroy dude decides he's keeping Benjamin as a slave. And this is where this week's portion comes into play. And he approached. One of the brothers approached Joseph and says, Mr. Viceroy dude, you are not keeping Benjamin. Keep me if you want. Benjamin, he's going home to our father, who already lost one son and is worried sick about losing another. And at this point, the emotion building up in Joseph came crashing down like a pile of Jenga blocks. Joseph reveals himself and says, "I am Joseph." And the brothers were like, "What?" Joseph reveals himself and says, "I am Joseph." And the brothers were like, "What?" No, really, they were speechless. Totally embarrassed by what they had done to Joseph in the past. Wanting to kill him, throwing him in a pit, selling him. Brother Joseph, cheers, we love you. We always have. Never intended any harm. They weren't going to say that. So Joseph then explains that he harbors no grudge or any ill feeling towards them, just as he doesn't have anything on Benjamin, who wasn't even present when those things occurred. He then hugs his brother Benjamin and cried on his shoulder, while Benjamin cried on his. They were crying about something much deeper than the love between two reunited brothers. Joseph saw prophetically that the 2 holy temples that we would have in the future land of Israel were to be in Benjamin's portion. He saw that they were to be destroyed and therefore cried. Benjamin too had a prophetic vision, and that was that there was to be a tabernacle in Joseph's territory, and he saw that that was going to be destroyed. That's why he cried. Sounds beautiful, but here's the simple question. Why didn't they each cry over their own loss? They each have their own loss to cry about. Let them each cry about the destruction of the holy places in their own territory. The Rebbe teaches that when it comes to your own problems, issues, struggles, averes, problems physically or spiritually, you cannot just cry. You can't appease yourself by just feeling bad. Rather, you must do hard work and fix your situation. But if you know of another person who's going through tough times, spiritually or physically, if after doing what you could to help them and praying for them, the problem still seems to exist, then, and only then, does it make sense for you to cry. May we love ourselves enough to do hard work, and may us Jews love each other enough to possibly even be brought to tears for a fellow. And really, may Hashem bring the time where he will wipe the tears off everyone's face with the revelation of Mashiach right now and the building of the 3rd and final Holy Temple.
Hey,